All right, parking the car. Got the quad motorcycles flying by. All right, so we're pulling over here, and then right off of the road here, we have the hiking trail. And it is early May, mid-May. You can see that everything is growing in very nicely. There's a very nice, bright, fresh, and young green everywhere. Once you get away from the road, it's nice and quiet. The grasses are starting to grow. Start to tap into the rhythm of the forest. And you'll see as you hike at this time of year, the birds are busy. Lots of robins on the floor. Lots of seeds flying everywhere from the trees at this time in spring, so the birds are just feasting on it. The grasses are growing. The birds are feasting on everything. They're also feeding their new young chicks. And it's a busy time of year for all of the creatures in nature. So we're at the top area here, and you see on the left there's a yellow. Anytime there's a marker like that where one sign is stacked on top of the other, the direction that the top one is where the trail goes. So this trail splits in two. We're going to go to the right here, and we're going to go up the mountain. Left would go up the mountain as well. It's just a different trail, less steep. So this is the approach to the top of the mountain here. Hook Mountain and Nyack. There's our double stacked green trail marker. Again, that means we can go left, but you could also go straight. That'll take us up. You could also go straight, and that'll take you down the long path another way. But we're going to go up to the mountain today, get some fresh air, get some nice views. And here is what the climb looks like. It's very short, but it's got a little bit of steepness to it. It'll definitely get your breath going a little bit, but it's sort of a nice moderate challenge. Of course, this is the English ivy that's starting to grow. You'll see this everywhere along the Hook Mountain trails and many areas of the Hudson Valley. English ivy is an invasive species of plant that was brought here by the European settlers, and it grows everywhere. You can see it has little flowers this time of year, but later in the summer it will look much different. It will look sort of like your typical vines or your typical ivy. Starting to get up a little bit. We'll keep going. This mountainside here gets very overgrown in the summer, and there's lots going on here. There's lots of plants. There's actually even a blueberry bush. Some of the early flowers and grasses here in the springtime. Just very peaceful and calm up here. Now you'll notice here, these are cactus. Yes, in the Hudson Valley, in Nyack, we have cactus, and no, they are not introduced. They are not invasive. They are actually native, indigenous to this area. In fact, this strain of cactus, the Opuntius, as it's called, the prickly pear cactus, because it grows a fruit that we'll see soon. Actually, it'll flower in about June, and then the fruit will grow. This is the Opuntius cactus, the prickly pear cactus. This grows actually contiguously throughout the whole North American continent. Here's a cedar tree. We'll see these evergreens sprinkled throughout the landscape here. Just love seeing all this green after a long winter. And here we are at the top. That's the Hudson River. and the Tappan Zee Bridge, or as it's known now, the Cuomo Bridge. And that's Nyack right there. And in the distance, where I'm pointing here roughly, that is New York City, and you can see it. You can see it from up here. It's pretty cool. You can see the skyscrapers. You can see the big city itself right there in the distance. And now we're looking at here, this flying object is a turkey vulture. Turkey vultures are very established here. They are also a native species of bird, and you will see them all over Hook Mountain. Today there's a lot of winds. Very windy day, so they are just riding those winds. You can see there we've got about 4 of them just chilling, gliding those winds up high. Of course, that's very advantageous to them in terms of survival efficiency, because they're able to just not use much energy and let the wind drift them while they're, of course, scanning below to see what food might be available. And they're up there quite high. Here we're looking towards the Havistraw direction. The Hudson River continues on that way, and it goes further and further north, all the way up to the Adirondacks, to Albany and beyond. And now I'm zooming in here on Manhattan. You can see it right there. Gotham, Babylon itself. And we're just a stone's throw away here in the woods. Alright, so after that first peak, the trail continues. On the left there, that's going to be a whole stretch of forest that continues and becomes a relatively wild area, undeveloped. And then on the right is going to be the cliffside. Of course, this goes all the way up through the Catskills. There's a contiguous trail marked by those bluish green markers there. That's called the Long Path. Another viewpoint. As you continue on the trail, you get many of these outlooks and many different angles that you get to look out at the river, so it's just very beautiful. Here we're continuing on the trail and just taking moments to just breathe and listen to the trees and just sort of tune in with Mother Nature around us. Scat. Another viewpoint. Looking out at the bridge once again. So we continue on the trail. Here's another footprint. That's from a deer. You can see the two-toe mark there. And here's another trail. See the yellow marker there on the left? That leads down to the Rockland Lake area. There's a little swamp here. Here's another track. And now we're in one of my favorite parts. These are the second distinctive set of cliffs with looks, and these views are just incredible. The footage here, it doesn't really do it justice. You really have to be there yourself to see this, and it just has a great effect on you, kind of making you feel small and making the world just feel bigger as you sit here and just look out. I like to come up here with my camp chair and bring my book. More often than not, though, I don't even read. I'll just sit up here and kind of look out at things and just relax and sort of meditate with everything. Here's the mullein plant, and you can't really tell on the camera here, but this is huge for a mullein plant. And on the hike, we'll go over what the mullein plant is and how many uses it has. One of the main functions of the mullein plant in medicine is in healing the respiratory system, but we'll talk more about that. That's a huge one, and it'll change as the summer goes on. We'll see the big yellow stalks. Here's a view again. Again, the camera just doesn't do it justice, but this is another lookout area here along the hike. As you continue further down from this, you get into the most remote area of this trail system. The roads are so far away at this point, you can really tell the difference. And this is sort of a map looking at where I am relative. So we're going to turn back at this point. And of course this loop goes in a full circle, which should take you about maybe a good 5 hours if you're taking your time to do the full Hook Mountain loop. And of course, if you're just hiking straight through at a quick pace, you could do it in 2.5 hours, probably, maybe even better. But if you're kind of taking your time and looking at the views, maybe stopping for lunch, you're looking at about a 4 to 6 hour day. So we're on our way back down now. Of course, in the day Hike Lite, we'll just go up to the first peak, and depending on how we're feeling, we could go over to the second set of peaks and then turn back, or we could just head back down.